Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to another indie book review. And yes, this is another one of those belated ones. There was a little bit of time that passed in between finishing the book and filming the review, but today I am reviewing The Absolutely Amazing Adventures of Ava Applesawce by Roy L. Pickering Jr., illustrated by Erin Rogers Pickering. This is a kidlit, and if you're not sure what that term means exactly, a kidlit is the book after picture books, but before mid-grade. So think like second to early third grade. These are kids that definitely have moved past picture books, but don't quite have the reading skills to do like the full novel of a mid-grade. And you might have also heard these referred to as chapter books. Now, I've reviewed a couple other kid books, mid-grade and picture books, but I was not expecting a kid book from this author because I have reviewed a Roy L. Pickering Jr. book before, but it was an adult contemporary all about the trials and tribulations of three Black Americans trying to navigate through business and relationships. So I was not expecting this cute, happy kidlit book from him. But the illustrations are truly adorable, and as someone that worked for a while in an elementary school, I feel like I got a pretty good idea for what works for kids or what works for teachers reading aloud to kids. So this is about a young girl named Ava Applesawce, whose family makes some fantastic tomato sauce, the applesauce tomato sauce. And I love that little aspect. And her father is gifted this pile of lumber from this strange woman next door. Everyone thinks she's a witch, and Ava was the only one brave enough to actually ask her if she was a witch. And her father built her this toy castle out of it. And when she goes to hide in said toy castle during a game of hide and seek with a neighbor kid, she ends up magically transformed. Now, right away, this book, the writing style gave me some definite, like, classic children's literature vibes, just in the way that certain words were phrased, or the way that it would talk to the reader and, like, joke with the reader of, oh, don't you want to know the recipe for making the applesauce tomato sauce? Or, would you like to go on to the story? We know what you want. And then we start to give the recipe for the tomato sauce and then be like, just kidding. So I play those little like jokes with the reader. I will say though that because of that more throwback writing style, this book probably isn't the best read to self for a kid in like second grade, maybe a little bit older, maybe like if they're reading at or above grade level in like third grade. However, for your average second grader, a lot of these words aren't going to make too much sense. However, I could easily see this being a book that like the teacher would read to the class during snack time. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but in the school I worked at, second grade and below, they always had like a set snack time, and the teacher would walk around the room reading aloud from a chapter book and then like, ask questions about it to get the kids involved with their reading comprehension. So I think that this would work really, really well for that. There were so many cute, adorable moments. There was a hamster. I'm trying to remember exactly what its name was. Ava wanted a baby sister, a younger sister, but her parents said no. Then she wanted a dog. Parents said no. She wanted a cat. Parents said no. She finally got a hamster. So she names the hamster Goo Goo Woof Meow, because that's the sound that all the things she wanted before the hamster would make. And that kind of like little bit of it was just amusing to me. Little bits of amusement throughout the entire story. I will say that it didn't feel like there was a lot going on, like through way of like a driving force. It definitely felt a little bit ambling at times, which isn't necessarily to the book's detriment. I believe this is meant to be like a recurring thing, I believe. So this book at 70 pages, you're not gonna do much more than just set it all up and get all the correct characters introduced to get the crux of the magic toy castle introduced. So that's not too big of a deal. And it is very short. It is like 70 pages, but again, you're not gonna make your kidlit chapter book much longer than that. I don't think I've ever seen a kidlit chapter book that was more than like 120 pages at max, and even that's pushing it. This would be the kind of book that, maybe a kid would read with an adult helping to explain things. But the illustrations are adorable. I love little Ava with the little poof balls on either side of her head. There actually is a coloring book to go along with it, I believe. And I also believe it's all out of stock right now. Or else I would suggest you can get that too. But Erin did a fantastic job on those. They are a very specific kind of artistic style, very light and child friendly, which goes really well. I particularly liked the illustrations of Goo Goo Woof Meow. I also liked the little bit of the other world you get to see, and it kind of sucks that you didn't get to see too much. The conflict that occurs in that other world was solved fairly quickly, but again, kidlit book, it can't be that intense, at least not right out of the gate. And this is not going to be a terribly long review because, again, the book was like 70 pages. But I would highly suggest this if you've got any littles in your life. I would also highly suggest maybe if you just like coloring, you could just like get the coloring book for yourself when it's back in stock. If it ever gets back in stock, I don't know. But I definitely enjoyed this. I was not expecting Roy to be such a great children's author after writing such hard-hitting adult books, but he must be a man of many talents. In the end, I gave this book 5 stars. Very adorable. There's not too much in the way of kid books for indie books, which, I mean, it makes a certain kind of sense. It's really hard to get these books in kids' hands unless you have someone willing to buy and give to them. But, I mean, if you're watching this, then you probably are that kind of person. So, you know, holidays are coming up. Just throwing it out there. So this would normally be the part where I say, if you're an indie author and you would like a review, but I am still hard closed because I have no self-control. So, I hope to be open again by the end of November. Fingers crossed. But I still got a lot more books I gotta read in the interim. Regardless, with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.